training with your nunchucks, either one pair or two pair, doesn't matter. A lot of the things that I'll show you, you can do with one hand, or you can do with both hands at the same time. And I'll show you some of that, but I wanted to talk about some specific things that you asked me on Patreon, a couple of Patreon questions, and I'm gonna get into those very quickly in the video. But first I want you to warm up, starting with your palm up. So when you learn martial arts, especially nunchucks, when you start martial arts training at home and you're a beginner, then you want to start at the very basics. You always want to stay safe. You want to warm your body up properly. And this, the nicest thing about nunchuck warm-up is that everything you're doing in your warm-up, you're going to use when you go into fighting for self-defense, or if you're just trying to learn it for fun, or you want to add a new weapon to your repertoire, the weapons you're able to use. And like I said before, you do one hand, two hands, you put them together apart here, or you can bring them in and you start to move them kind of alternating speed, or you can go simultaneous speed. So there's a lot of things that you can do. And like I said, we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the video. But the warm-up starts always in my class with this outer orbital. This outer orbital just spins around the outside of your body. Your elbow can bend a little bit here, and when you turn it in, get your elbow straight. Because now you're gonna be pulling it to the inside of your body, and if you're too close, meaning your elbow's bent, you're gonna smack yourself on the bottom of your chin. With a pair of chucks like these, you don't wanna hit your chin, right? You want that far. These are hard aluminum. You've got this little, these are carved in. That's to give you a better grip so they don't come flying out of your hand. Now, on Patreon, you asked me, which pair of nunchucks should you buy first? And I always say, if you can, make your first pair. Invest your time before you invest your money. Now, this warm-up is a palm out, palm in, and a pair of nunchucks is literally 2 sticks with a string attached. And of course, these cost money. There's a chain. This is a dinosaur style, which is a little bit longer chain. I also like the ones with the short chain or the short string. They go a lot faster. They're more for tricks. This is more for self-defense. So your palm's up, your palm is down, and then when you put it together, up, down, you're in a figure eight, a sideways figure eight, also known as an endless spin or an infinity spin. Now, the infinity spin is very important because it's going to act as a deterrent in front of your body. In other words, you can spin very quickly in front of your body to create distance between you and the threat, but it also looks cool and it's good for your brain. You're going cross body, that always makes you smarter. Putting the other hand palm up, and it's simply, your palm is facing the sky, the string, in this case the chain, is coming out of your thumb side. You're holding in the middle of the chuck and you're cranking it forward. Small motion. Palm down, and you want to get blood to flow through the joints to keep you safe from injury in this workout. This is also going to start to build strength because of the nature of the exercise. It's putting some pressure in your grip, onto your grip, through your forearm. You can see my muscles, just smack my elbow, man, that hurt. My muscles are flexing here. Broke my own rule, right? Get your hands up. My muscles are flexing. Palm up, palm down, palm up and down. Because it's spinning and because these are heavy, these are hard. Like I said, this is a fighting pair of nunchucks. This is self-defense style. You can use these for demonstrations if you want. A lot of cool things that you can do. But they're mostly very effective self-defense tool. They're not legal to carry in a lot of places. So it's not the #1 self-defense tool, but they are fun. If you're allowed to use these or you can make your own pair, do that. Get a pair of these, learn how to use these. Learning how to use chucks, put them up and down. Learning how to use chucks will give you more ideas on how to defend yourself against things like multiple attackers, a knife, a bigger opponent, using a stick. And this is basically 2 sticks attached in the middle, and when you're moving them through striking self-defense motions, really becomes one long, flowing, fast, striking, hard striking self-defense stick. let's talk about this strike, because I get this question a lot. You keep asking me the same question. This is a question that came from Patreon. I like to have, every once in a while, I like to do a video where I answer all the Patreon questions. Just because the Patreon guys, you guys who do the Patreon, good morning, Harold. Yeah, me too. I love. Harold says he loves chucks, spinning chucks for good exercise and timing. Timing and distance. Timing and distance beats speed, power, strength, youth. You get older or you're not as strong as somebody else, but you have better timing and distance, you can win most fights. So learn timing and distance. Palm up, palm down, you put it together. Building strength in your grip. Learning timing and distance. And like before, when I smacked myself in that elbow, that's not from that. That's from sitting in a chair or something. I don't know. Maybe there's no, good morning. Thanks, Harold. Maybe there's no mark. It hurts, still hurts. But it's not going to kill me, and it's good. When you smack yourself, that's instant feedback. You're doing something you should not be doing, change. And then hitting yourself in the elbow goes away. I was yakking. I was talking too much. I was trying to show you the muscles in my arm to show you how spinning and like this creates pressure in your grip, forcing you to squeeze here, that kinetic energy. And I just had my arm in the wrong place. That's good feedback. It's good for me to know. All right, so the question on Patreon is specifically, and then I got a couple of these in the comments on the last video that we did with the nunchucks, is when they strike, it's coming back and smacking you in your hand or your arm, especially here or here, striking for self-defense. And I want to address that right from the start. And one of the videos, someone gave me a super sticker, super chat. And every time I get one of those, I especially want to answer those questions. When it comes down to how do you keep from having it smack against you? Yeah, you should. You asked, should you throw a tennis ball against the wall, and as it comes back, smack it out of the air? Absolutely, you should. Start with it in your hand, throw it up, smack it. Throw it up, smack it. And then throw it there, smack it. Then throw it up, kick it into the wall, and then as it comes back, smack it. But yeah, hitting tennis balls in your nunchuck is always a great idea and a lot of fun. When you're striking in self-defense, you're going to be holding here to create maximum power here. When you hold here, you have maximum leverage. If you're holding here, you have maximum ability to do some really cool tricks, right? When you hold it up here, you have maximum speed in tricks. So this, great looking, super fast moving, cool tricks, especially with these longer chain chucks. Here, more tricks. Here, toward the end, self-defense. This is self-defense. So self-defense strikes when you're hitting the bag or a stack of tires or an opponent for self-defense. You go in horizontally and it hits that, it's going to bounce back and smack your hand. And you keep asking me, how do I keep that from happening? What am I doing wrong? First thing you have to know is this is an angular, diagonal striking weapon for self-defense. It's designed to do this because when you do this, it's going to come back and it's going to bite you. Unless you also follow through. So the answer is, the reason it's hitting you is most of the time, and I haven't seen you do it, but I'm guessing that when you strike, you're stopping here. And you can see it. I'm going to try to do a little slower. See what happens to my hand? Just comes right back and smashing me right there. And I'm going slow enough that I don't get hurt. Or that it doesn't hurt, right? If I don't want that to happen, I'm going to hold it down here and I'm going to hit with just the tip. So it's about distance too. If I hit it right here, it's probably going to come back and hit me. If I hit it here, it's going to come back and hit the chuck. That's because of the length of the chain. If I hit it here, it's going to come back and hit here. If I hit it here. If I hit with a tip, which is the way you're supposed to strike for self-defense, you're supposed to hit with the tip, it's going to make that chain straight. And see the difference there? That's where your hand goes. So if you hold it here and you hit with just the tip and you follow through. Let me show you on this side. follow through. If I stop, it stops there and it's gonna fly back, hit your hand. When you strike, follow through. When you go down, hit with just the tip, your hands on the bottom, and if you hit with the tip, the resistance comes back and it pushes that chain straight and it collapses it there. I want to show that one more time because I'm not sure if you're picking it up. If you're picking it up, if that makes sense to you, say, yeah, I got it. Or you already knew that, say, I already knew that. But you're coming through, you can hear it hitting itself, right? Well, not that time. There it is. So it's coming through and it's hitting that. Yes, we did the Boken last week. The next one I plan on doing is the Chinese Dao, that Tai Chi sword. From here. I love swords. And then probably this weekend, if I have time, I'll do a lightsaber sword. I do those on the weekend just for fun. Just because it's all the same moves. If you're going down on top, that's a vertical strike. You're hitting them on the head for self-defense. Again, hitting with just the tip, comes back and hits here. Now, if you want to avoid all the bounce back altogether, do angular strikes and follow through. Strike and follow through, strike and follow through. Those are very hard, effective, powerful strikes. And the reason that it doesn't come back and bite your hand when you hit resistance, like a bag, a stack of tires, a tree for practice, or some thug, bully, street thug for self-defense, is that the angle that you're striking at as you come down and it makes impact and it bounces, it does that. Because of the angle of the strike forces it. When I hit the bag, let's try from this side. I don't know if you can see. It flows through, and if it does bounce back, it's going to go at this angle and miss your hand altogether. So that's the answer. You keep asking me that question. I get that question like once a week. You're hitting, you're practicing for self-defense against a bag, against some tires, and all your basic strikes, and when you hit them, it bounces back, hits your hand. And the answer is two things. One, if you're going to be striking horizontally or vertically, be sure to be holding here and only hit with the very tip. That's how you're supposed to hit anyway. Think of it as a sword. You would slice with this part of the sword anyway, right? And so you're going to hit there, and then as it bounces back, it's going to put all that energy here, push here, and it's going to land like that. And that's the reason for the length of the chain on this self-defense style nunchuck. And then with a horizontal or a diagonal strike, you're not going to experience it if you also follow through. Follow through, meaning don't hit and stop. See how I just came down and smashed my fingers? Don't hit and stop. Always follow through. All right, I wanted to get that out right from the start. We did this. You turn your hand down and you did that. You put it together and you have a figure eight. This is a very important basic move with your nunchucks. When you learn how to train martial arts at home or martial arts tutorial, this is a martial arts tutorial at home for beginners, and you're using the nunchucks, you want to be able to do a forward spinning figure eight. You also want to do a reverse figure eight. And the way you're going to do the reverse figure eight is go back to that orbital. We had the palm up, we were cranking forward. You're simply going to crank it back, pull it into you. And then again, when you turn it in, and this becomes an inner orbital, extend your elbow so that you don't smash your head. So from here, pulling it in, palm up, palm down, up and down, you've got your inner figure eight. This is also disguising strikes. We did that downward strike, now you have an upward strike. And that upward angular strike, they're reaching for you, they're trying to stab, they're trying to punch you, trying to hit you with another weapon. You just catch them off guard. maybe to the chin, maybe to the temple, maybe to the bottom of the chin. It's a self-defense move. So pulling up, put in the other hand. Always start with the orbital. This is the way you train your brain, by the way. These are tips. These are training tips to get you there faster. I call them skill accelerators. Skill accelerators. Making you or getting you there a lot faster. It used to be we had hours and hours to train. You might have hours and hours now with the COVID shutdown. Maybe you're stuck inside, you got nothing else to do, then go for it. Spend hours on each move. But if you don't have as much time, do these skill accelerators, outer orbital, inner orbital, palm up, palm down, put them together, you've got your figure eight. Always get the other hand up, make it habitual, it means make it a habit. Always guard your head. You'd rather, even though it's nunchucks, you'd rather they hit this than hit this, right? So your figure eight in reverse. Let's talk about changing hands, because this is also really important. And I see a lot of people have great skill. You see a Sinja man, great skill, but they don't know how to get from one hand to the other hand smoothly, so they don't flow yet. And I want you to flow from the start. The very most basic thing you're gonna do is take this back, take this hand over the front of your body, grab it under the arm, drop it. Here's that reverse strike. Take this hand under, pull it back, and now you're going hand to hand. Now here's what's gonna happen when you first start. If you've never done it before, you're gonna be doing one of these, you're gonna be reaching behind your back trying to get it, and it's because your brain takes what you're seeing from me and it rearranges it into what makes sense, because you've never done it before. That's normal, that's okay, go with it. But watch me and tell your brain, do what I tell you to do. So you're gonna control your thinking. From here, pull it up. Now see, when I point my hand to the ground, even just a little bit, that drops it, right? Make sure you drop it. And when you drop it, if your arm is outside, it's gonna keep it away from your body. If it's really tight, you're gonna be hitting your back, and you're not gonna like it at first. It's gonna be uncomfortable. So get it out here just a little bit. If you're hitting your back, pull it out. And you want this part of your arm to be like a tree growing out of the ground. You want it perfectly perpendicular to the ground. Go straight up, it's vertical. The left hand or the opposite hand must go in front of your belly, under the other arm to grab it. And it's gonna be right there. Now, if it's at an angle, it's not gonna be there. If it's at any angle, if it's too close in, it's not gonna be right there. But if you make sure that you control straight arm, up and down, vertical, across your body, grab it, you've got it, right? Pull it over, across your body, pull it back. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Use your wrist. Almost smacked my face. Use your wrist. That's why I love the live ones. I can't edit that out. When I smash my nose and it's like this and the blood's coming out, you're gonna see it. The tooth comes loose, falls to the floor, you're gonna see it. And I'm gonna laugh and say, see, I told you, I make the same mistakes you do. I lost focus. I wasn't paying attention. You're not gonna knock your teeth out with the nunchucks. I'm not trying to scare you. Although, if you look at that first link below, there are some nunchucks in that martial arts store that probably could knock your tooth out. So start with a nice wooden pair or a nice light pair and work your way up. Or like I said, invest your time, make your own. Invest your time before you make an investment of your money. Before you buy one, make one. That's how I got my first pair. Well, actually, it's not how I got the first pair. It's how we got the first pair, my brother and I, and then we reverse engineered it. It was just a tomato steak. It was a tomato steak with a hole drilled in it and some cotton rope looped 1, 2, 3 times. About this long. How long is this? Look at that. Elbow to wrist. That's as long as it is. Drill the hole about 1 inch down. Zzz. Make sure it's in the middle so you don't split the wood. Put the through 1, 2, 3, tie a knot, you have a pair. Just from a tomato steak. If you don't have a tomato steak, get an old broomstick made out of wood. Cut it down, that long. That's how long they are. All right, so you're going hand to hand. And I'm going to show you how to go the opposite way, but not yet. I want you to learn this one first. Get good at this. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Get really comfortable with it. And now I want you to go down and up, practicing a vertical strike. Think about right on top of their head. Remember what we said before? You don't want it to bounce back and hit your hand. Hit with only the tip. It's going to push it here. And when it does bounce back, it's going to hit the chuck because your hand's here at the end. So you're going up and down. And now go at that angle. Make a nice, long, wide motion. Get that motion in your shoulder, across your body. But look at this. I'm fighting behind my chucks. I want to keep the chucks between me and the threat, especially if they have a knife. Don't do this. You will, and that's because you're just not used to being really tight. But watch yourself. And if your hand is out here, bring it close to the body and go here. And then across and back. And see, my palm is facing down. I'm on the opposite side. I come through. My palm is facing the sky, and I come back. Palm down, palm up. Down and up for a horizontal strike. You do your horizontal strike, and then you put all three together. Go across, horizontal, and up. 1, 2, 3. Now you look like Bruce Lee from the movies because you're doing your nunchucks in this Bruce Lee triangle, in this game of death, Enter the Dragon, Enter the Dojo, whichever version you've seen. He does this move a lot. The new Ip Man 4 movie, it's got Bruce Lee in it, or an actor playing Bruce Lee. He fights with the nunchucks. That's the move that he's doing. That's what we're doing. We're going across, backing up. 1, 2, 3, switch hands. Remember this? Across the body, grab it, pull, and go right into that figure eight. Or not figure eight, sorry. It's a right triangle. I call it the Bruce Lee triangle. 1, 2, 3. 3, over and over again. Switch hands. Do it again. Do it again. So you're starting now to do a combination. 1, 2, 3. Switch. 1, 2, 3. And you only know 2 moves, but that's, well, no, you know 3, right? Do a figure eight. And then from here, go 1, 2, 3. Reverse. Do a figure eight. Go 1, 2, 3. Other hand. You've got 3 moves, and you weave them together. It looks like you know what you're doing, because you do. You now know 3 things to do with the nunchucks. Figure eight, across, back, change hands, figure eight, 1, 2, 3, back, and then you just keep building it, keep building it, keep building it. Yes, good. Hello, Cole. Ethan, it's good to see you. Since man, that was a good impersonation. Bruce Lee. Now, from here, I want you to learn a new move today. We're going to do a circular motion in front of the body. Now, this is going to seem so complicated, and it's going to be hard at first because it's a new move, but it's not really complicated. You just have to overcome your real fear of the nunchucks flying out of your hand and smashing you in the face. That's always a real fear with the nunchucks. And I say real fear because my elbow's still stinging a little bit. I love it because it says, hey, you did something wrong. Pay attention next time. But when you go around this circle, this clockwise motion, this is my right hand, show you from here. This is a clockwise motion. When I go in my clockwise motion, I'm going to let it go over here. And you have to reverse the clock for your head at 11 o'clock, 10 or 11. And I'm going to let it fly in the air. And it's going to do a full rotation. And my palm is going to come down. I'm going to catch it over here at 1 or 2 o'clock, maybe 3 o'clock, depending on how fast I get my hand over. So I come here. I'm in the reverse or the clockwise circle with the right hand. And this is important because if it were the left hand, you're going to do a counterclockwise motion. Think about spinning to the outside of your body, outside, from the top to the bottom. Bottom to the top, that would be spinning inside. Can you see? Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. It's all the same, right? It's all martial arts. So we're going here, up here, I let it go. Remember I told you the palm down is going to catch it. Let it go here, catch it here. spin one when you're ready, but it also, when you let it go, it's got to do a full turn. So I let it go here, and then it turns, and I catch it here. Same side of the chucks. So from one, let it go. I think I let it go down here, but that's what you're going to do eventually. You make it easier on yourself if you let it go up here. And then reverse it counterclockwise. And when you drop it, pick it up. Don't expect not to drop it, by the way. Expect to drop it over and over and over and over and over again until you get really good at it. You're never going to get good at it if you don't drop it. I promise you. If you get frustrated, listen to this. This is important. You're allowed to be frustrated. You're not allowed to quit. It's like you're allowed to be angry. You're not allowed to scream and yell and act like a 2-year-old baby throwing a fit when you don't get your way. You're allowed to be mad, though. Mad is normal. That's healthy. Acting like a child is not healthy. Getting angry and violent, screaming and yelling, not healthy. Let it go at 1, catch it at 10. Let it go over here, 2 or 3 o'clock, full rotation with the left hand, catch it. From here, it goes around, counterclockwise because it's the left hand, and every time you drop it, pick it up. Then we're gonna progress. We're gonna, even though I dropped it a bunch on the left side, I'm gonna show you the next progression, how to make it and turn it into flow. We wanna do nunchucks flow. We wanna turn this into a trick. We want you to learn, I want you to learn how to expand your skill set. Get out of your comfort zone because you don't grow in your comfort zone. With my right hand, I go back to clockwise, but I'm gonna catch with my left. See my palm is up? It's not gonna catch palm down because it's the other hand, it's gonna be palm up. I'm gonna turn, I let it go same place, and I just put my left hand to the center line of my body, and it's simply gonna go, and when it comes down, it's gonna be right in my hand. Right hand takes it, clockwise motion. When I'm ready, I let it go. Left hand grabs it. This time I got it right in the middle. That's not where I want it. I want it here. But that's good. You're not gonna get it right the first time. I hope for your sake, you don't get it right the first 100 times because that's where skill is built. When you keep going and you fall short, and then you do it again and you fall short, and then little by little, you start to get a little better and a little better. It's when you get something right away, like a talent, right? You get it right away, you get it right away, and everything comes easy to you. When you finally do face adversity, and you will, in some aspect of your life, something's gonna be really hard, you'll quit. Because up until now, everything was easy. You didn't build the not giving up muscle. Build that not giving up muscle, that perseverance muscle. So right hand, I let it go, catch it with the left, reverse, should move the bag, let it go, catch it with the right. Make the circle, left hand, counterclockwise, right hand. And you're gonna find that this is actually a lot easier than catching with the same hand. But don't skip catching with the same hand. Learn how to catch with that first hand because eventually I'm gonna have you do figure eights, you're gonna throw it, catch it and keep it going, throw it, and then switch sides and go with the other hand. You have to be able to do both though. Don't neglect this skill that's harder. In fact, if you find one that's harder, do that first. So from here, I go up and I catch it. I reverse it, let it go, and catch it. Reverse, let it go, and catch. Other side, let it go, and catch it. Now, let me move the bag out of the way. Back to the figure eight. Right foot forward, it's in the right hand. I make my body a smaller target. I go into my protective spin. When I get over here on the left, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna catch it with the right. Immediately switching feet as I start the figure eight with the left hand. Make my body a smaller target. Easier to spin around a smaller size. When I get over to the right, let it go. Catch with the right, figure eight. Catch with the left, figure eight. Catch with the right, over and over. This is your new skill that I want you to really get good at. Bring it through, turning. Let's see if I can show you from the side. Catching. You can throw it on every one if you want. Turn, catch it. That's the new one. Let's go back to some of the old ones for review. You have an outer orbital. I want you to add the outer orbital to that up and down vertical strike. orbital down, orbital up. Now you're just going to build on those skills. You know, switching hand to hand. You know your Bruce Lee triangle. Do an outer orbital down, outer orbital up. Bruce Lee triangle. Switch hands. Down, up, triangle, switch hands. What else did we do? We did the figure eight. Start with a figure eight. Cross the body. Down, up, switch hands. Figure eight. Bruce Lee triangle. Spin down, spin up, switch hands. Figure eight. Throw and catch. Bruce Lee triangle. Down, up, switch hands. You get the drill, right? Put them together. When you learn a new technique, always go back and add it to a technique that you already know. So practice it for 30 seconds, and then say, okay, what's the new one? Oh, it's behind the head, into the other hand. Add that in. So go figure eight, throw and catch, Bruce Lee triangle, Bruce Lee triangle, go behind the head, the other hand. Let me show you how to do that one. This one just comes here to the other side of your face. Back of the right hand, left cheek. Now I just did that on the opposite, because when I teach, I usually teach this way, where I teach somebody face to face, and I always reverse things in my head. This is really my left hand, that's why it's got a watch on it. But I said right hand. The most important thing to remember is whichever, it's the opposite, right? That's my left cheek, that's my right cheek here. That way when I go like this, it's gonna swing around to this side. If I make the mistake, if you make the mistake and you put it here and you do this, it's gonna smash you so hard in your face, then you will lose a tooth, right? Don't do that. Put this here, bring it around. Practice, bring it around. Practice, bring it around. Go slow at first so you can make sure that it's definitely on the correct side. And when it's not, you're gonna learn very quickly how not to do that. But don't let smacking yourself be a reason not to try something new. New skill or new technique. Upper arm, down and up. 1, 2, catch it. You're squeezing here, your arm against the body, creating tension on the chain. See that? When you release that arm, it comes flying out as a strike for self-defense. This is also a Bruce Lee, mighty guy from Naruto. I don't know if you've ever watched that Naruto cartoon. I've never seen the cartoon, but I've seen the clip of the Naruto character called Rock Lee and what's the other one? Oh, happy birthday. Rock Lee and mighty guy. 1, catch. 1, catch. Spin, spin, catch. Bruce Lee way, the mighty guy way is a couple spins and a catch. Spin, spin, catch, pop them in the face for self-defense. 1, 2, 3, strike, right? Put them together, change hands, go around the neck, go through, throw, catch, throw and catch, and then go into a couple of spins, upper arm, a couple times, catch it, boom! Now you've got like 10 different tricks, all with the nunchucks in a very basic way if you practice them and you slow it down. So let's practice this, just front and back. This is one where you'll feel it more because of the nerves that are in your arm. And you're hitting. And all you're doing is literally just down, up, down, up. And you hold in the middle of your chuck. Down, up, catch. It's a timing drill. 1, catch. 1, 2, catch. 1, 2, 3, catch. Whatever you need to do to learn it. Squeeze, release. Remember what I said earlier about hitting the bag and not smashing your hand? If you keep it at this angle, it's gonna come flying through. See that? Like that. If it's like this, it goes in there. If it's like this, see what I mean? So we do this angle. It's like Kali sticks. If you've ever done Kali, Eskrima, Arnis, any of the Filipino martial arts stick fighting using Kali sticks, Eskrima sticks, Arnis sticks, you always keep the angle. You fight with the angle. There are strikes that come through here, but when you're defending and you're fighting against another stick or another knife, you're always having this angle. As soon as your hand goes like this, you're getting smashed with their stick, right? Now, there are moves that you do. Same with this. There are moves that you do, and there are ways to strike with it to minimize that. Like I said before, you hold at the end, you hit with the tip, and then when it comes through, it's going to hit itself. If you're here, you're going to smash your fingers. But remember that angle here. We're coming here for self-defense. So we spin, catch, pop. Go spin down, spin up, upper arm, spin around, under the arm, pop. That was actually from, I think, Game of Death or Enter the Dragon or Enter the Dojo with Bruce Lee. Because I remember watching, like, what's he doing? That's so cool. It's so I'm like, oh, that's not complicated. He's doing really basic skills really well. That's the best way to do martial arts. Basic skills. Become a master of the basics, right? And I think it was a Bruce Lee quote, or maybe it was Bruce Lee. I think it's attributed to him. Something about, like, instead of learning 10,000 different techniques, learn one technique. Do it 10,000 times. If you do 10,000 different techniques, you'll be a beginner at all 10,000. You do one, you'll be a super high level master. And if it's of just a straight punch or the reverse punch or whatever it is, maybe it's that Wing Chun, that 45-degree angle chain punch. That's what I'm thinking. The Wing Chun chain punch, if you do that 10,000 times and you're master of just one technique, you'll be very good at that one technique. So when it comes to the nunchucks, learn the basics. You can learn all of the throwing, catching, and that stuff too, but focus on the skills that get you mastery level of the basics first. So let's go back. Let's figure out what we know from this workout. This is martial arts tutorial at home for beginners. And I'm making these because I know a lot of us we're either in lockdown or facing lockdown, right, for COVID. Who knows what's coming, but we need to maintain our physical fitness and our mental fitness, our sanity. You need to maintain your sanity. You need to sweat. You need to breathe. You need to do something interesting and challenging for your brain and make your body sweat, stay healthy and lean, because a lot of people talk about, like, the first shutdown, they gain all this weight. You're not going to do that this time. So from here, spin down, spin up, down and up, triangle, and then spin outside orbital, upper arm, pinch, release and strike. Change hands. Figure eight, throw and catch. Figure eight, throw and catch. And ideally, you'll be able to throw it and not look back. I'm still having a hard time. I can't figure out how to watch the camera and watch here and not let that, see what I mean? You're not supposed to look back. When I'm not watching the camera, it's funny, I'm able to do it. But when you come here, there we go. It should look smoother than that. But I've got a lot of work to do. You've got a lot of work to do. Don't be afraid of the work. Work is always good. All right, one last thing, wrist rolls, because I know, again, this goes back to Patreon. And I want to say thank you to all my Patreon patrons. My Patreon patrons, especially. I want to thank everybody watching. I want to thank you right now. But I especially want to thank the Patreon patrons and the guys that are giving me the stickers, because that really, really, thank you. So are you. That keeps it literally pays for what we're doing right here. That's what's keeping me going. It's a trickle of money, but it adds up. And that's what I need. And COVID's really destroyed martial arts businesses around the world. And it's just because, ouch. Turn it under. This is wrist roll. Turn it back. But the COVID shutdowns, it's not the COVID, it's the shutdowns. The shutdowns, the media scaring everybody to death, the government's scaring everybody to death, that you're all gonna just immediately expire if you catch it. And the funny thing is, I have all these clients and they're older and older and older, now in their 70s, and they've gotten it, and they didn't like it. They did a couple of, we'll do bow staff will give you those bruises. It wasn't good for them, but they survived it. And they said after, to a person, man, with everything the media keeps telling us and the way the government's treating it, I thought it was a death sentence. And it wasn't. Not for them. And thank God. And not for most people. But the point is, it's really slowed down my ability to grow a brand new martial arts school. I opened the martial arts school in March, and like the second week of March, opened the 1st of March. The very next week they had a shutdown here, like complete shutdown for a couple months. And I know some of you guys have got it much worse. If you're in Ireland or you're in Europe, they've shut you down since March and you're still shut down. But even if you're not shut down, people are just afraid to come and start working out. And so you guys are keeping me going. Literally, you're keeping the lights on. I scratch the dirt. I'm running all over town every day, teaching different programs, different places. But that's what you do. You can either give up and quit and say, oh, I can't do it, it's too hard. Or you say, how can I do it? And I believe you've got to say, how can I do it? I'll do a little bit of Patreon. I get a couple dollars there. I'll get a couple dollars from the super chats, a couple dollars from the YouTube ads, a couple dollars from my blog, pasquinelli.com. Go there, a couple dollars there. And then a couple dollars in person here. I'll go over and teach at that school, the little kids, how to pay attention and get good grades and listen to mom and dad, blah, 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 blah. All the stuff I don't necessarily want to do because I've done it for so long. But as the man said, we were taking the bus before we bought the car. I think that comes from the Jeffersons, maybe. I don't know. One of my favorite shows as a kid. Moving on up. All right. Coming around and coming back. It's as simple as open your hand and just get a feel for it. You gotta be able to keep it moving, and then drop it, pick it up, drop it, pick it up. Do both hands, take your time, slow, smooth as fast. Don't quit, don't give up. Don't expect to get it right away. Don't be so arrogant, get your ego out of the way, says the man with the golden tiger on his chest. I've sold like 3 shirts this month. 3 shirts, that's enough to pay for my water bill. But I appreciate everything that we're doing. As they say at the Publix grocery store, we're all in this together. And I think, no, we're not. We are in it together, you and me. We're doing martial arts. We're doing what we can to stay sane and safe during those shutdowns, lockdowns. We're going to keep moving. We're going to get it done. Over and back. Over and back. I was thinking this the other day. We need to start these underground martial arts clubs again. Not to like beat each other up or fight or anything, but just like, you know, in case all of a sudden they say, oh, you can't do martial arts anymore, that's too mean or something. I don't know what it is. And we're already ready to go. And we're like, no, you don't understand what martial arts is. Martial arts is for a spiritual thing. It's for your body and your mind and your soul to move and challenge yourself to grow and never give up. Growth mindset. Just like back in the day. Now this is a reverse. And I'm going to give you this. Will be the last one. Maybe. There might be one bonus at the end. But what I want you to do is, you can do this one. This one's easy. This is the easier of the two by like 10 times. 10 times easier. Now, mechanically it's not easier, but it's easier because you're not afraid of hitting your head because you're pulling it back. But when you go under and over, the fear of hitting your head is intense the first few times you do it. And that's because you're going to hit your head. You're going to hit your head. And here's why. The way your brain works, your hand's going to come like this. You're going to be reaching for the nunchuck as you come behind. So you're reaching for it. And as you reach for it, yes, you're going to aim it right at your head. Now, I didn't want to do it for real with this one. If I had the wooden ones or if I had the other metal ones, I would. But this one really hurts because of the weight of it and because of the material. So I'm just going to show you how to do it right. This has to be like a statue. You can't move that hand. It must be facing up and down. It must be. If it has any angle, it's going right to your head. And the worst thing is, it's not going to hit the back of your head. Because as you go like this and you reach for it, you're also going to look for it. And so when you look for it, it's going to hit you in the face. And it's going to hit you probably in the eye. I've seen it over and over again. You do this all the time. You start to go to this one, you go like, I did this when I first learned it. I couldn't figure out, why do I keep hitting myself in the head? Yeah, it's Pasquinelli. Oh no. If you go to pasquinelli.com and send me a thing, I do have a PayPal. I use Venmo too. I love Venmo. PayPal charges a percentage. Venmo's owned by PayPal now. I think they're going to kill it. They bought it just to kill it. That's my theory. I don't know. I'm up and down. This comes here. Most people don't know, but Elon Musk started PayPal. And then he took all that money he made in PayPal, talk about taking a risk, put it right into Tesla. Solar City. Well, he got a lot of government grants for the Solar City. See what I'm doing? I'm just, see that's all this is. If you point this stick to the sky, the other side has to go to the sky. If you point this stick at your head, the other side has to go to your head. So if you put this hand here and you don't move it, and see it's not here, that's my head, I put it out here. I come across my body with that diagonal strike. When I come to my elbow, I put my wrist on my elbow, and I simply turn my hand to the sky. It's as simple as that. And it pops right up there, and you'll never hit yourself in the head again. You will, because I do. And we all do, right? Don't buy a Wing Chun dummy. They're so ridiculously expensive. And you're going to love it for a while. Because I used to have a Wing Chun dummy. But just don't do it, right? They're a lot of money. All right, come across and grab it. That's all you're going to work on. Work on those today, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.